This video is brought to you by MoviePalette.com. Hey everyone, do you have a favorite movie that you would love to hang on your wall but you can't think of what scene or what poster to get? Well, now you can get the entire movie on one high quality canvas. With MoviePalette.com, you can get every scene from your favorite movie, or more specifically, the dominant color of every scene from your favorite movie in chronological order on a great high quality canvas. It also comes with a silver engraving of the title down at the bottom. It has rubber stoppers on the back to keep it from bouncing. And they have a huge catalog of what to choose from. Whether you're a horror fan, or a fan of sci-fi, Marvel, Japanese anime, Disney animation, drama, or Oscar classics, there's a movie palette for you. And right now, MoviePalette.com is having a sale for 50% off for their Halloween sale. But if you go right now, and if you enter room 15, you'll get 15% off of the movie palette of your choice. That's ROOM15 for 15% off of your movie palette. Again, this is a great value for a great piece of home decor that looks great for any film and for any film buff and anywhere in your home. You will definitely like this product. Mine is of The Shining, and I could not be happier with it. So definitely go to MoviePalette.com and enter ROOM15 for 15% off of your palette. Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, back with another review. As I continue my month of October run through of both the Stephen King film adaptations and horror anthology films, and this is another horror anthology. Now, I do have sort of a small stack left of anthologies I never got to a couple of years ago that I wanted to tackle this month, but when I saw that this was on Hulu, and it is more of a well-known one, a lot of people really seem to like not just this film, but the series that it spawned. I think there's 5 films out now, and a 6th was just announced fairly recently. It's one that I don't own. Like I said, it's on Hulu. It's one that I have seen. It's from 2012. I Redboxed it back when it first came out. I did not care for it then, so I was curious as to what my thoughts would be on it now. And it's the film VHS. Yes, it spawned a series. There's VHS 2, Viral, 94, 99, and 85 was just announced. 94 and 99 came out in the last couple of years, probably also diving into that 90s nostalgia that I think both American Horror Story and Fear Street have been getting into. Of course, 85, probably because of Stranger Things, and also the new film in the X universe, Maxine, will take place in 85. Now, when I first saw this, I was not familiar with any of the directors involved with these shorts. Now, it was created by Bloody Disgusting, mainly the founder of Bloody Disgusting, Brad Miska. I think they came up with the wraparound, and then they just hired a few filmmakers to just do whatever they wanted. And the theme is, they're all VHS tapes. And it looks like, 90s, early 2000s, sort of gritty, grainy VHS. Which, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of found footage back when I first saw this, but now found footage is still hit or miss, but I do like the idea of it being, gritty VHS as opposed to more digital found footage. However, there is one story that really just does not fit, and I also don't understand how or why it would be on a VHS tape. But it contains 5 shorts, and I would say a decent idea for a wraparound, even though the wraparound is extremely poorly executed. In fact, the wraparound doesn't even wrap around the stories. The wraparound ends in between story 4 and 5. So when story 5 ends, that's when the movie ends, which is pretty stupid. I'm not sure why that would be. But uh, doesn't say who directed the wraparound, but so for directors, for the first story, Tape 56, we have Adam Wingard, who of course did 2016 Blair Witch. Amateur Night, directed by David Bruckner, who did The Ritual, which I loved, The Night House, which I really enjoyed, and the new Hellraiser, which I surprisingly enjoyed. So going back to it, because I didn't really remember much of this film at all, I was excited to see both David Bruckner and Ty West, who, of course, did The Innkeepers, X, House of the Devil, Pearl. So really excited to go back and see Ty West short. Glenn McQuaid did the fourth short, Tuesday the 17th, which is the slasher short, of course. He did I Sell the Dead, Tales from Beyond the Pale, um, and Chilling Visions. He did a segment in that. And then Joe Swanberg, who I don't know anything he's done. In fact, I think he was even an actor in the Ty West short. Um, yeah, he was. Okay. So, Tape 56 is the wraparound. So that's the one that was directed by Adam Wingard and written by Simon Barrett. But getting back to it, yeah, Joe Swanberg did the sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger, and the final one, Radio Silence, which I guess is a group of people. They directed 10/31/98, which Radio Silence they also did Devil's Due, Southbound, Ready or Not, VHS 94, VHS 99, and the latest Scream sequel. Again, produced by a bunch of people, especially involved with Bloody Disgusting. Music by Lucas Clyde. Put out by Magnet. Made for only 242,000. So made 1.9 million. So you can definitely see the budget. I mean, this is not a movie where they had to use effects to get the grit and the grain of a VHS tape, which I appreciated. I do like the look of it. Although the wraparound got really kind of nauseating because I think even though it looks VHS, I think they're trying too hard for the found footage, especially with like the shaky cam and everything. Now, one of the main reasons why I did not care for this film is because most of the shorts, and also why I didn't like it back then, have some of the most insufferably annoying characters I've seen in both anthology and found footage. Now, The Gallows has pretty insufferable douchey characters as well. Here, yes, they are douchey, but they're more so just really annoying. And it really got grating to watch, save for the Ty West one, Second Honeymoon, the sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger, and to a lesser extent, the final one, 10/31/98. I mean, they were kind of obnoxious, but not as bad as the other ones. With the worst ones being Tape 56, the wraparound, and Amateur Night, the first segment. Those characters were just so awful to watch. And then the ones in Tuesday the 17th were just blah characters. And they were annoying and douchey as well, but not nearly as bad. So the wraparound involves this group of criminals who love to go around, vandalize, steal, sexually assault, parking lot, and they like to film their crimes. And they want to build their crime video empire. So they're hired by this unknown person to break into this house and steal a videotape. They're not told what one, they're not told what's on it or why he needs it. So they break in. They're walking through the house, and there's a dead guy in a chair in front of all these TVs, stack of VHS tapes, and they all wander around while one person is just routinely changing and watching the VHS tapes. However, every time we return, that person has uh, disappeared, and they don't know where they went. And yet they still stick around to do this job, which I know they have to do it so the movie can happen. And also, I think the dead guy in the chair will appear and disappear in between segments as well. It's a cool idea of just having someone finding these tapes and having to change them out and watch them. That's a really good idea for a wraparound for an anthology. But the way it's done, directed, acted, it did not work for me. So, kind of like with Campfire Stories, the last anthology I did, perfect idea for a wraparound, but squandered for various reasons. Now, the first story, and this ranges from slasher, creature feature, I guess a mystery, paranormal, and science fiction. So you kind of have one of each genre. I don't know if that was planned or if it just worked out that way. Again, each filmmaker was able to write and direct whatever they wanted for their own segment. So the first one, Amateur Night, which again is the worst. No, it was the most annoying to sit through. The sick thing that happened to Emily, I would say, is the worst, just because I found it the least interesting. And that's the one that's like a Zoom call or a Skype call. It's on a laptop, so it's more like Unfriended or Host or Safer at Home, which people call found footage. I think it's more desktop footage, which is just another step or another branch out of found footage. They are two different things. Sorry. So, Amateur Night was directed by David Bruckner, which again was one of the shorts I was excited for. This did spawn the 2016 film Siren, which was directed by Greg Bishop. But it involves these incredibly douchey, obnoxious group of friends. 3 guys. 2 are your typical, for the lack of a better term, chads, I guess, even though I don't want to use that term. And 1 is just like a dorky, shorter guy. He's wearing these hipster glasses that has like a hidden camera in it. Their plan, go to a bar, pick up women, try to have sex with them so they can film it. They're rejected by everyone. The lead guy, he's able to pick up a girl, but the one with the glasses picks up this really weird girl. And I mean, the performance is fine, and the way she has these crazy big eyes. She's shy. She talks very softly. The only thing she really says is, "I like you." And she's just very awkward and shy about everything. But she likes glasses. The one that did get anything is one of the more obnoxious ones, because he just makes like animal noises, air humps, and laughs at everything. Back to the hotel. The lead guy, his date falls asleep, so he goes to make a move on Quiet Girl, which she responds, but when they undress her, her feet are kind of scaly, her tongue is black. She's some kind of creature. And I've seen pictures of her show up on the internet. I mean, it looks like she's got like this split in between her head, like it's separating. You know, monster teeth, blood all over her. She attacks and kills the 2, then chases Glasses. And I mean, it's fairly brutal and bloody. When she attacks the guy that laughs, the guy with glasses like peeking around the bed, and she's in like this position where she just like, and she ripped his dick and balls off, which lands in front of the guy. The ending was kind of cool. The only kind of tense moment was he tries to run away, falls down the stairs. She catches up to him and tries to perform fellatio on him after we've seen what she does or did to the other two guys. So that's kind of tense. She doesn't hurt him, but she feels rejected, so she starts crying. The guy tries to run away. He's calling for help. She gets wings, grabs him, flies away. Glasses fall off, and we see that POV of the glasses falling. It cuts out. So cool idea. Which, another thing, my biggest criticism for Anthology is, do these feel like short stories? Like Creepshow, is there a beginning, a middle, and an end? Or do they just feel like ideas that are not fleshed out? Found footage, do I believe that and why what's being filmed is being filmed? Because you watch a lot of them, like Paranormal Activity. Why is 75% of this shit being filmed? So here, I can kind of forgive some of the Anthology critique, because where they are kind of like home movies, you are just kind of thrown into the plot. It doesn't have to have setup for characters or plot. Cause like you watch a whole movie, you're just kind of there. So I kind of have to give a little bit of a leeway on the Anthology critique, why it's being filmed. Okay, here he's wearing glasses, so they're always on. Later on, the 10/31/98, there's like a nanny cam in the guy's Halloween costume, so that's always on. So I kind of buy that. Other ones, yeah, there's people with cameras, which the only one I bought was the next one, which is the Ty West one, Second Honeymoon, which is just a road trip. Okay, I guess I believe why all this is being filmed. So Second Honeymoon has this couple. They're on their second honeymoon. There is kind of a reference to Big with the Zoltan machine, but it's like a Old West theme. They're going through Arizona, the Grand Canyon, making their way up to Vegas. But someone is coming into their hotel rooms at night and screwing with their stuff, putting the toothbrush in the toilet, stealing money out of the husband's wallet, and just kind of wondering who it is, what's going to happen next, until eventually the husband's killed, which I like this kill. It was done very realistically, stabbed a bunch of times, and we just hear the sound of gurgling blood, so I liked that. Come to find out, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it's earlier in the story, there's a knock at the door, and the husband says, it's this woman that weirdly asked for a ride in the morning. And I'm guessing she's doing that to everyone. I don't know who she is. Now she's just kind of standing outside being weird. Later on, she's gone. She's the one that's obviously doing this. The twist is that after he's killed, and the killer's washing the knife off in the sink, camera looks up at the mirror. The wife is making out with her. It's her lover. And then they make their way to Vegas. Ends with the wife asking the lover if she erased the footage. So then, and there's not really much to say about it, like directing wise. It didn't have the shaky cam. I believed why it was being filmed. It's a road trip. You film everything. It was short, sweet, very focused, very simple. So that's one of the reasons why I liked that one. That's one of the ones I liked more. Tuesday the 17th is a really weird one, especially for a slasher film. group of friends, two guys, two girls, go out in the woods, uh, and they're killed off by this force called the Glitch, because it's just this black figure with like a red head that's obscured by VHS tracking errors, like it's all glitchy, and is able to be in like two places at once, and is able to sneak up on people, somehow have a real knife and kill them. Some of it looks CGI. I mean, he throws a knife, one girl's back of the head and out the eye. The blood kind of looked watery. Uh, you find out one of the girls had already been in these woods with a group of friends. Talks about the murders. Police didn't believe her because she said the killer could be everywhere at once. And she brought these friends out there to use as bait. And she has this trap set, like a woods survival wrong turn trap, where it's like a bed of branches with spikes. Step on it, it comes up and impales you. The glitch falls for it, which if it's like a supernatural glitch, how does a booby trap kill it? I have no idea. But the glitch catches up to her, cuts it, every time it's around, the camera starts to glitch out as well, which cool idea. But it pulls some of her intestines out and ends with her convulsing and glitching like she's turning into one as well. Alright. I mean, it was cool to get a slasher segment, but or even just to have this glitchy force that messes with the quality of the camera, all this tracking and glitches. But the way it was done, like, how would a glitch have a real knife? Some of the CGI, how would a booby trap kill a glitch? I don't know. So then there's the sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger, which again is all like a Skype laptop call. Which, why is that in an anthology called VHS, where the whole theme is VHS? Why would a more modern sort of desktop video chat ever be put on a VHS tape? But it's this girl that thinks she's talking to her boyfriend. She thinks paranormal stuff's going on in her house. Some stuff happens in the background, which is kind of creepy. She starts getting like this bumpy itch on her arm. Boyfriend's telling her to leave it alone. She thinks someone's outside her door, so she uses her laptop and the boyfriend to look around for her. There's these ghostly children that show up, which they look like kids dressed up as ghosts for Halloween. Maybe they're supposed to look fake. Because then we see in the boyfriend's screen, he vanishes. He appears in her apartment on her screen and cuts this fetus out of her stomach. He's talking to the two kids. We get the idea that, I don't remember if it says, but it says during the credits, aliens. They're aliens. He's removing the alien-human hybrid fetus. It says that the bump in her arm is a tracking device. He breaks some of her bones so that when he wipes her memory, she thinks she got in an accident and she's diagnosed as like schizoaffective. And then it ends with her saying, "You deserve better. Go be with someone else." He says, "I only love you." They cut their call. He starts another one with another woman who says she also has an itchy bump on her arm. So he's just dating all these women and performing alien abortions, essentially. This one was the least interesting, especially visually. I didn't really get why the format was in this VHS-themed anthology. And a lot of stuff just really seemed to come out of left field. It wasn't a story that I was interested in. And then in between here, we get where the wraparound where the final criminal is left alive after everyone else has disappear, then the next one replaces that one, watches the tape, they disappear. Last one's left. He comes across the previous one to die, who's decapitated. The old guy comes to life. He's like a zombie. Kills him, so the camera falls, and then we just go to the last story. So the wraparound doesn't even wrap around. Excuse me, which is really stupid. That's probably the biggest creative flaw of the whole film. Now, I really did like this story, mainly for the atmosphere. Now, this is the paranormal one where a group of friends dressed as a teddy bear, the Unabomber, a soldier, and a pirate, they're invited to this Halloween party. They're given directions. They go to the wrong house. It's like this old Victorian house, which I loved the interior design of this house. Very creepy. It looks like something you'd see in like a haunted house attraction brochure, especially some of the bedrooms that they go in. Because it looks abandoned, but it has, electricity, all the furniture, wallpaper, and everything. So some of the bedrooms they go in had just this old Victorian creepy look to it, which I loved. Also, like, they think they're either the earliest to arrive or maybe the party's in another room, so they're just kind of sneaking around, being very quiet. The guy with the teddy bear suit that has the nanny cam in it, he's in the rear. And I like how whenever he turns around to look at the room behind him, you'll see like a ghostly girl standing there, then running away. All the scares are in the background with no music. So this is the most atmospheric out of all of them. Along with just a really cool interior, Victorian interior design of this house. So I like that. They make their way up to the attic where there's these old men that have this young woman tied to the rafters. They're performing an exorcism. The friends think it's a party gag or a show, so they start cheering them on. The old men see them. They go to escape. They're like, we can't leave her, so they go back up. Well, first, one by one, the old men are just kind of like pulled into oblivion, like up through towards the ceiling. Then they disappear, which I was like, okay, now we're getting really stretching the disbelief here. But they're able to, either when all the old men are sucked away or killed, they untie her, they're carrying her through the house, and the house is going wild, with hands coming through the walls and floor that are the same color. And, I mean, it's pretty seamless. It doesn't look CGI, it looks like it's actually coming out, and it looks really cool. Or they'll run down the hall by these bedrooms where you see like a door floating by or objects floating by in the rooms. Which the CGI makes it look like the promotional clip for Blumhouse in the beginning of a Blumhouse film with everything floating around. But the way it's all in the background, it's not really drawing attention to it until they get into like the kitchen, then everything's flying around. But the way the hands are coming out of the floor, the walls, they even run by this one door that has a window, and the window just like the thought of this house being alive, I thought was really cool. I mainly like the effects of the hands and arms coming out because I thought that looked fairly seamless. They can't get out. They have to go through the basement, down and out, get her in the car. The car stalls on the train tracks, which was already set up because on their way to the party, they have to wait for a train to pass. So they're on the train tracks, lights go out, come back on, girl's gone, standing in front of the car, does like a scream, walks away, which when she does, all these ravens fly by. Which when they're running with her through the hallways, there's like objects going across the hall in front of them from one room to another. Then there's like a bunch of ravens that do it. CGI, but I thought it looked cool. Car won't start, can't unlock the doors, train is coming, and that's where it ends. There was a joke ending that was shot where they get out, they talk about the fun night they had, then the train hits the car as they're walking away. So I'd probably say the last story had the most going for it, especially the interesting idea with the poltergeist, the interior design of the house. That all really worked. Again, I believed why it was being filmed because it was like this constantly on camera. I would say it's tied with Second Honeymoon because I just like how simple that story is. And that would have the most believable acting and the most subdued acting, save for maybe the Zoom call one. But Amateur Night, even though the creature girl looked cool, the characters were so douchey and insufferable. I believed why that was being filmed too because it was the special glasses. But the the slasher one, I guess they all kind of had cool ideas. They just weren't really executed that well. I know a lot of people really like this movie. I've heard a lot of people say it's one of, if not their favorite anthology. And again, I like the idea of it all being, you know, 90s, early 2000s VHS quality, which does make me want to check out 94 and 99 as well. But I think they're only on Shudder. But I just didn't find the stories terribly interesting, and the wraparound served, did not help at all either. The wraparound was very poorly used, especially even ending before the segments do. And also the Zoom call one felt very random and out of place, totally and visually. But what is good for an anthology is to have variety. I mean, yeah, we had the creature, the slasher, the mystery, sci-fi, paranormal. This just is not an anthology that I've ever really cared for. With only 2 segments that I actually liked from beginning to end, I was disappointed that one that I didn't like was by David Bruckner. Again, but his still looked good. It was still shot well. I just couldn't deal with the characters. But yeah, that's VHS. Hulu also has VHS 2 and Viral, so I will get to those. Maybe I'll find a way to do 94 and of 99. Hulu also has ABCs of Death 1 and 2, which I have not seen, and I do not own those, but those are ones I've wanted to check out as well. And I'll try to squeeze in more of the anthologies that I have and the Stephen King films that I haven't got to yet. So stay tuned for those, and thank you for watching.